For the longest time, he has been preaching that we are number one. We are better than. They are not as good. They are broke. And now he suddenly wants to partake and be one of the national directors for Miss Universe. I am just as confused as you are. I promise you that. We are on the same boat. We are going through the same thought process. And when I saw this yesterday, I thought it was a joke until it wasn't. Until I saw the official announcement, and then I was like, I am confident, pretty optimistic about the fact that most pageant fans have probably heard about the news that Nawat is taking over the Miss Universe Thailand franchise. Yes, Nawat. The same Nawat who owns Miss Grand International, who has proclaimed several times that he wants to take down Miss Universe and that he wants to become the #1 pageant. Yes, the same one with the slogan of Miss Grand International, one and only, because to his eyes, he's the only worthy pageant in the world. Jesus. Yes, the same Nawat now holds the power to choose Thailand's representative for Miss Universe. Thailand as in, like one of the biggest pageant countries in the world, and also the home country of one of the two owners of the Miss Universe organization. All right, putting all the shock aside and all of the unexpected surprises and whatnot, this is something major. And honestly, I think that this will have a long-lasting impact in the pageant world, pageant industry, whatever you want to call it. So today, I am going to try to break down to you what this means. How did Nawat become the national director of Miss Universe Thailand? What does it mean when it comes to the relationship between Miss Universe and Miss Grand International? Don't worry, I got you covered. I have all the facts right here in front of me. And I'm going to share my opinion as well about how I feel about this on a personal level as a pageant fan, as someone who creates content about pageantry, as someone who works in the pageantry industry as well. Because, there's a lot of pros and cons to this. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer and say that this is all negative, but also, there are things that we need to consider and that we need to talk about and that we need to address if this is the route that we are going to be taking in the future. Okay, go get your coffee or tea or, probably tea, something calming. You're going to need it. Last night, I was already going to bed. I am currently in Montreal, so by the time that this news came out, it was pretty late for me. I'm a late sleeper, so it was probably around 2 a.m. in the morning, and I opened my Facebook account, and then I saw this photo of Nawat in front of the Miss Universe logo, and I thought, cute. The fans are back at it, making memes and making fun of Nawat for MGI whatsoever. But then it got serious because we started seeing news outlets reporting on the fact that Nawat had purchased the Miss Universe Thailand franchise. And my first thought was that, how is it possible? Miss Universe Thailand is with TPN Global, which is one of the biggest event producers in Thailand. They have been with Miss Universe at this point for over 7 years. And not only they produced arguably the best national show out of all of the Miss Universe franchises, but at the same time, Thailand is rumored to be the country that pays the most in terms of license and franchise fees for Miss Universe. So how would anyone from the Miss Universe team in their right mind take away the license and the franchise from TPN Global? Just doesn't make sense. Well, don't worry, I'm gonna make it make sense to you real quick. I have sources, I have information here that I wanna share to you guys. So according to The Inquirer, according to Nation Thailand, as well as Kausod English, there's a couple of details that we should know about the recent acquisition of Miss Universe Thailand by Miss Grand International. What basically every major news outlet is reporting is that Nawat has officially paid for the license fee and the rights to Miss Universe Thailand for the next 5 years, being from 2025 up until 2029. Now, how much did he pay? How much did he have to pay for this? You might ask, of course, because as I mentioned earlier, TPN was already paying one of the highest license fees in the Miss Universe ecosystem. So in order to make this possible, Nawat had to pay a license fee of 180 million baht. Now, if you've never been to Thailand and you are not very familiar with Thai bahts, that is the equivalent in US dollars of $5 million. Approximately, give or take. You do the math real quick, you will know that Nawat is paying over 1 million US dollars per year for the license of Miss Universe Thailand. That's how much this man is actually putting out of pocket into the competition. And there's more to it that I'm gonna be telling you all about in this video, but bear with me for a moment. It's been an ongoing conversation in the world of pageantry that pageants are not really profitable anymore, especially in American countries, in European countries, in African countries. In Asia, pageantry is still holding its ground, you know, because it's very popular and because there's still a lot of sponsors who are willing to invest into it. But the first thing that I thought about when I saw these numbers is that why would anyone in their right mind pay $1 million a year for a Miss Universe franchise unless they know for sure that they can recover it and make some money on top of it? At the end of the day, I think it all boils down to what I told you earlier. Thailand is one of the biggest pageant countries in the world. Although they don't have the track record of some other fan favorite countries such as like the Philippines or USA or Venezuela, of all of this, Thailand still pulls a lot of sponsors. They can produce incredible pageants. They have pretty strong contestants. And most importantly, there is an audience for this type of events. The Thai fans just love pageantry and they eat it up every single time. As a company, Miss Grand International has officially purchased the license of Miss Universe Thailand, but let's not forget that Miss Grand International is a publicly traded company, which means that in less than 24 hours, the share value of Miss Grand International on the stock market increased by over 30% within 24 hours. That's insane. If you are into investing, if you're into stocks and whatnot, you will know that normally every year you are lucky if you get like 12% return. That's a really good year. For your stock to jump 30% overnight, that's just mind-blowing. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like Nawat is investing this amount of money into Miss Universe Thailand, because he knows that not only he is adding value to Miss Grand International as a company other than as a pageant, but he's also making sure that he holds and controls the biggest two pageants in Thailand, one of the biggest pageant countries in the world. The possibilities for him to bank on the attention, on the sponsors, on the viewership, on the media coverage is just exponential. So from a business perspective, it is undeniable that Nawat is taking the right decision here. If I had the money and if I had the opportunity to make this type of purchases and this type of investments, I would also go and do it, no questions asked, right? Wouldn't you? But where things get a little bit tricky and where I would like to add my 2 cents on this and express my personal feelings and opinion about this whole situation, we're talking about the same Nawat who has been extremely critic and vocal about Miss Universe. He takes jabs at the organization constantly. He says that the pageant is outdated, that it's boring. He makes fun of them for struggling financially, and even went as far as crashing the Miss Universe logo during one of the Miss Grand International editions a couple of years ago. I believe it was 2022 or 2021. Anyways, I'll put the video right here. If you know, you know. This was hella disrespectful and it just created a very hostile environment in the pageant industry where he kind of separated the fans between the Miss Universe fans and the Miss Grand International fans, and constantly promoting the idea that Miss Grand is the one and only and that there is no pageant above Miss Grand and that whatever Miss Universe has as a legacy is worthless basically because he decided so. This is also the same Nawat that for the past couple of years has been increasing the license fees for Miss Grand International for every single country because he feels like those countries need to see Miss Grand International as number one. Even though the pageant has only existed for a little bit over a decade, he feels like he's in a position where he can call the shots, demanding not only for higher fees, but also for standalone individual national pageants for different countries. Just a couple of months ago, when India won Miss Grand International, the Indian team barely had enough time to celebrate and just be grateful for the fact that they won the international crown of Miss Grand. Nawat was already not only requesting for an increase in license fees, which was insane, but he was being pushed to the extent that the national director in India, Nikhil, had to relinquish his Miss Grand franchise because Nawat was upset at the fact that he was focusing too much on Miss Universe rather than Miss Grand International. Hello? Isn't Nawat doing the exact same thing right now? Isn't he quite literally the owner of Miss Grand International? And now he is willingly deciding to focus on the Miss Universe Thailand franchise in his country when he is already the owner not only of Miss Grand Thailand but also of Miss Grand International. The math ain't mathing here. The math ain't mathing. Automatically, Nawat gave himself the monopoly of pageantry in Thailand. Yes, there are other competitions. Yes, there are other pageants, but everyone knows that in Thailand, the two most influential pageants are Miss Grand, and Miss Universe Thailand. There's no denying that. Although I don't get the reasoning and all of the contradictions that Nawat has going on in terms of whether he is for Miss Universe or not, and which one is bigger, Miss Grand or Miss Universe, I actually want to pay closer attention to the Miss Universe side of things, because don't get me wrong, I'm also going to give it to Miss Universe for making this questionable move. What? I don't really comprehend why Miss Universe, if they're really going through this whole rebranding and getting a little bit more into the business side of things, trying to do so many things at the same time, while at the same time doing so little. I don't understand why, instead of working on your brand and focusing on your vision and trying to re-establish yourself as a legacy pageant, considering that it's a brand new administration and brand new owners and all of those things, why would you run directly towards your competition asking for help? Competition is good sometimes, but you know, there's healthy competition. You're going towards literally the guy who has been trying to destroy you, not just in Thailand, but worldwide for the past decade. Huh? I have to laugh because I don't want to cry. It is a known thing for us pageant fans, whoever works within this industry, you know that Miss Universe, although is owned by millionaires, the pageant has been struggling for the past couple of years in terms of revenue, in terms of, you know, how profitable the pageant can be or how much attention is gathering, the dying interest in certain continents. But at the same time, for the past couple of years, we have been seeing Miss Universe venture into different business directions, such as the skincare line. They just opened the new offices in New York City where they have the management team, they will have the modeling part of it, they have the water in Thailand, they have the Miss Universe apparel, Miss Universe makeup, Miss Universe, I don't know, whatever they can put the Miss Universe brand on it, they will sell. Are we so desperate for funds and money that we have to go this route? Basically align ourselves with people who don't seem to have our best interests at heart just to make money? Because if that's the situation, then let's just be honest and let's just address it and let's put it like that so that everyone understands and we are all on the same page. Are we that financially affected? Because one thing that a lot of fans are not talking about, and one thing that even when I look at the Facebook posts and the pages kind of talking about these things, is that there's also an investment from Nawat's very own pocket, which is of 150 million baht, which is the equivalent of around approximately 4.5 million US dollars. Where's that money going? Is that going to Miss Universe? Or is that going to someone's pocket? One thing is for sure, and this is the silver lining right here, we're gonna have a hell of a show. We are gonna have perhaps the best edition of Miss Universe ever. Because if Miss Grand knows how to do one thing, is they know how to put up a show. And allegedly, once again, at least based on all of the reportings of the news sites and whatnot, this deal that has been signed also engages Nawat in helping with the preparation and the staging of Miss Universe in Thailand later this year. So perhaps we are going to get a show with the caliber, you know, with the look and the feeling and the production of a Miss Grand International edition. My real question is, why wouldn't Miss Universe want to do their own thing on their own side and prove themselves and just simply give Nawat all of that credit? A little under a week ago, I put up a video on this channel without even knowing that all of this was happening, when I was talking about, you know, Miss Universe going to Thailand. This is great because Thailand is an amazing host country and they know how to produce shows. But at the same time, Miss Grand will be also in Thailand, which means that the two pageants will be inevitably compared. I know for a fact that the Miss Universe production will improve if Nawat is overseeing it. I know for a fact as well that the contestants will most likely receive, you know, an amazing experience in Thailand. They will have access to the best of the best in the country, which the same cannot be said about the experience that they had in Mexico. However, how do we deal with the ethical part of it and the values of the Miss Universe organization, and where does Nawat stand towards Miss Universe now? Because again, for the longest time he has been preaching that we are number one, we are better than, they are not as good, they are broke, they are this, they are that, they're irrelevant. And now he suddenly wants to partake and be one of the national directors for Miss Universe. I don't know about you, but the personal feeling is that Miss Universe is simply going towards business. They're going towards money. Wherever they can get it from, that's where they will go. It doesn't matter if it's good money or from whose pocket is coming. If it's money, they want it. It has become so business driven that I feel like we are in a way regressing to the Trump era. And not for the good parts of that era, but you know, if you know, you know. Do you think that this is a good move? Do you think that Nawat's intentions towards Miss Universe Thailand are genuine, that he is going to prioritize and invest into the company to the detriment of Miss Grand International? If you were in the shoes of Miss Universe, would you give one of your biggest franchises to your biggest competitor in your own country? I mean, there are no right or wrong answers here. I don't know where this is going, but at this point, honestly, I just need to disengage a little bit and distance myself and my feelings from all of this and just look at it as a show. This is the show, this is the entertainment, okay, but I cannot keep up with this and I cannot get caught up in my feelings towards Miss Universe, because the truth is, the Miss Universe that I grew to love and appreciate and that I looked up to is no longer. It's not the same organization anymore. It's not even the same people behind it anymore. And perhaps I'm the one who's delusional for wishing and hoping that the values and the vision was the same that it was a couple of years ago, when realistically, no one from that time is still there. I never really envisioned a world where Miss Grand will be producing Miss Universe, but here we are. All right, let's roll with it.